Hello everybody, it's SmirkSmileGrin here with Elder Scrolls Online. This is about crafting. So if you're new to crafting or just want to know how crafting works in Elder Scrolls Online, check this video out. So to start, you pick up your crafting skill lines. You have to visit a pretty big sized town like Rotwood or Ardon. It'll be like these crafting merchants over here in Ardon. And you have to start your crafting quest. So in Ardon, they'll say, hey, you need to practice crafting this one item. You craft like 1, 2, or 3 of it, whatever it is, and then you turn it in. And then you unlock that crafting skill. And then it'll appear down here in your crafting skills. Woodworking, jewelry crafting, enchanting. You can max them all out. As you can see on this character, this is my crafter. I pretty much have all the skill lines maxed for that, and I have enough for my PvP points and a bunch of my other ones. You will have to prioritize later on because you won't have enough for every single thing, but you'll have enough to do whatever you want, essentially. So I don't use any of siphoning, but I think I do have certain passes unlocked that's going to benefit me. And you'll know whenever you play long enough what you need. And you can always just go to like Grotwood, and there's these shrines in Grotwood or in the major cities that will allow you to redo all your skill points like that. So don't worry about that. But alright, so crafting. After you have the crafting skill learned, let's say blacksmithing. It's not gonna look like this. This is like a crafting guild that I'm in. So over time they built up pretty much one of every crafting station. But you can go refine your raw materials. So as you're gathering raw materials, you can then break it down into better materials. So to refine it, you're going to, let's say if you had, I wish I actually had some. So let's say you had iron ore. In order to craft iron armor, you're going to need to then refine the iron ore. It's going to give you the iron ingots, and then you're going to use the iron ingots to, let's say, craft your armor. If you want to increase the level of the armor, you have to add more iron ingots up to a certain amount. Now, level 14, you have to move past iron. I'm on to steel, and it's the same thing with steel, and so on. Next is styles. So I've learned a lot of styles with this character. You're gonna start out with pretty much, I think, I don't remember, like 2 styles or something like that. It's been a long time. You start out with your own race's style, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other ones. Maybe not. Maybe you only start with your own race. Either way, you're gonna have to collect motifs. They're like these books. You can buy them at guild merchants. You can find them all throughout the world. You can do quests for them. You can kill bosses for them. They're everywhere. So the collections. Here we go. Here's all the motifs that I have learned. Like I have 9 out of 14 out of that style, 6 out of 14 of that style. You're like, oh, why do I want to do all this? I don't want to be a crafter. Well, you don't just have to be a crafter to do it. So they installed this thing called Outfit Station. So Outfit Station, here's what I look like without my costume on. But you can look like any style that you own. So if you're wearing light armor and you want people to think that you're wearing heavy armor, essentially you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna go, I don't know, something like this. Not that. Oh wait, that's light armor. Sure, why not? Shoulders. Let's do a really bright one. Oh well, you get the point. And then there's dyes. The dyes are like achievement based. That was weird. Or you can randomize it. So you have all these styles. It tells you what achievement you have to do, and then you can look up what achievement it is. And then it tells you what achievement you need to get that color. But there's so many ways you can customize your character. Not with that, just that. You can do just your costumes, and then you can dye your costumes. So that's another important thing for motifs. So not just crafting related, but collecting motifs will allow you to customize your character's look. But back to the crafting stations. So we already talked about how to create and do the different styles. You have to collect motifs. Next is traits. So this is what's going to take some time. So to do a trait for any type of armor piece, you're going to need to research it. Here we go. So for an example, I would have to destroy these shoulders to research training. I'm gonna usually want to do it with a crappy armor piece. But the more traits that you have, the better, essentially. Certain armor sets require you to be able to craft that many traits. You can have your friend craft it for you, but if you want to do the crafting yourself and craft for others, you're gonna need to know all the traits. Even if you're gonna have somebody else craft it for you, you want to know specific traits because they installed these transmute stations. It takes this currency, the transmute crystals, which you can get from doing dungeons, PvP, and a few other things, I believe. But if you had an item, let's say this bow, see this is what it looks like when it's transmuted. If this bow had like some stupid stat that you did not want, let's say it had defending, and it's a tank type of stat, or you wanted some type of DPS stat. Alright, you would be like, oh well, I wanted sharpen because it gives me physical penetration and spell penetration, and I wanted to do damage. Well, if you had 50 crystals and you learned that trait at the crafting station by researching it, then you can then swap the trait on your weapons. So it would prevent you from having to keep farming all these freaking gear pieces that have perfect traits when you can just farm one. You have enough transmute crystals, just swap the trait. It's great. Alright, so that is how you do the traits. The traits, you find a piece of gear, you can buy it from a merchant, or if you just find one, click research on it. So that research is going to destroy the item, and then you'll have a timer. So if I was to do this one as one of my last traits, it's going to take me 21 days and 14 hours. It takes like 30 days on the last item. So you want to put points into researching. It's like blacksmithing. Here we go. Reduces research times and allows you to do 3 of them at once. At first you can only do 1. So you have to put those skill points in as you're leveling up so you can do 3 at once and it'll be faster. But yeah, it's going to take like 30 days. At first it's only a few hours. The first trait. And then the second trait is longer. Third trait becomes longer. So make sure you start that as early as possible. Improvement. So this is why everybody needs to be a max level crafter for every single thing. Because you can only upgrade your own gear if it's bound to you already. So if you equipped a gear, you found it, and it was bind on pickup. If you don't know what that means, it pretty much means right there in the upper right. I can't move my mouse, but in the upper right, it will say like a little bag symbol and a lock symbol, and then it'll say bound. If something is bound to you, only you can upgrade it. Let me see if I have anything on me that's not bound. Here we go. This is bind on equip. You see right there, same location. Now if I was to equip that, it would be bound to me. So you would need someone to upgrade it before you would equip it, if you did not have the crafting stations and be able to research and upgrade and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's the important thing. To get the highest upgraded gear, you need to be able to upgrade most of it yourself. So everybody should have level 50 crafting on all their primary used things. So if you don't use any cloth, technically you don't have to have it, but if you're going to make multiple characters, you're going to eventually have it. And then it's going to take this type of material. So if you don't have 8, you're going to have like you're going to have 87% chance of failure. If you try to upgrade it without 100%, you can destroy the item and you'll lose the material. So you want to always have 100%. And it's pretty easy. I mean, this becomes expensive, but I mean, this material is what you get. So all these materials for upgrading is what you get from refining. And it doesn't matter the level of material you do. Look at that. Got gold material. Like, actually, that's kind of rare because that's like the hardest one to get. But all the material gives the same upgrade material. So the level 1 material has a chance to give you the legendary material. And yeah, that's how you upgrade. It's pretty easy. Green, blue, purple. So if I wanted to upgrade this to purple, all I gotta have is 4 of the purples, and then you click improve, and then it upgrades it. You'll just lose materials, and you get upgraded item. If you want to swap the enchant on that item, you'd have to go in the crafting at the enchanting. I don't have max enchanting, sadly. Where's the enchanting station? Try here. You want to swap the enchant? You'd craft an enchant. I don't really have them all memorized. I think I know one. Here, let's just put something together. Some magic. And let's do a Ta. Okay, I don't have Pora. There we go. So that one is visible. So if you're gonna want to craft a thing, a little glyph, you'd craft it, and then you'd right-click the item, click enchant, and then you'd select the enchant. So you see how this piece of armor has stamina. You can essentially swap it over to health, magicka, etc. To swap that trait, where it says infused, you would need to go to this station, and you would need to have the research already done for that item, like we discussed earlier. And then there is crafting stuff for your house, so furniture and all that good stuff. You can also do that at these stations. So you'll need to actually have the pattern learned, but once you have the pattern learned, you're going to need a variety of crafting skills. Because certain things don't just take, like clothier, it's going to take multiple skill lines to even craft it. It'll take like such amount of skill in blacksmithing, such amount of skill in leatherwork, whatever. Just a lot of stuff that goes into crafting, and the earlier you do it, the better. I would recommend, if you have the points, put points in the hirelings so you can start gathering resources. And then I would recommend you just break down all the material you get. That's probably the easiest way to level up, because you can just go to these stations. If you have any armor or junk items you don't need, like you just got done with a dungeon run, or you just got done grinding with some friends and you just had like a crap ton of white gear and crappy gear, just start breaking it all down, and it's gonna level up your skill. Not only is it gonna level your skill, it's gonna give you materials and stuff so you can craft. So that's like the best way. I did most of my leveling up was through that. There's dailies you can do, and the dailies give you bonuses. There's I think it's intricate. It's one of those. There's like these white items, you're probably gonna see it. It's gonna say increased to increase experience when you deconstruct it, and that'll help you level up even faster. But it's not that hard to level up your crafting skills. It is going to take some time, and you're able to invest money to do it even faster. But something else recently added, jewelry crafting. It's very expensive. So to do that, to level that one up, I would recommend just farming dolmens. Dolmens are guaranteed to drop at least 1 jewel every dolmen. And if you just go to Alik'r Desert and you find that big old group, you can just dolmen farm in this circle here. There's 3 dolmens, and all they do is just dolmen, teleport, dolmen, teleport, dolmen, teleport. And they'll do it all day long. But I think that's about it. I don't know what else there is about crafting that I can say. There's a ton of trade skills in alchemy, enchanting. You have clothier, which does cloth and leather. Just be aware of that. So as you're scrolling through it, the first group is light armor, and then the second group is all medium. So it's a ton of stuff. Woodworking has not even a lot of stuff. I finished this like early on. Like, it's a bow and then like 4 staffs, and then it's a shield, and that is it for woodworking. It's so easy. And then you have blacksmithing. I think I already said jewelry crafting. But yeah, I mean it's not that bad. Lastly, if you're an ESO subscriber, the crafting bag gives you an endless amount of storage space. I don't know how I could live without it. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's so much crap. That just makes it worth it for me. I don't know how anybody does this game without the crafting bag. It's insane. So that mail stuff right there is what the little what are they called? Hirelings are giving me. So the hirelings give me all those crafting materials every day. Every day I log in, and you can do it for all your characters too. Alright, well I'm gonna head off. This is SmirkSmileGrin. Give it a thumbs up if you guys like this video and if you found it helpful. Good luck on your crafting, and please ask any questions if you need any advice on crafting. Also, if you want to join my guild, I just re-upped an old guild that I started in pretty much around beta time, marketplace, and we are now recruiting. So please send a message and I will invite you. Thank you. Please subscribe. Later.